What's changed since the tragedy at Pulse nightclub in Orlando? Florida Representative Carlos Guillermo Smith and George A. Wallace, Executive Director of LGBT Center Orlando, talk with NPR's MICHEL Martin. MICHEL Martin, host. Like many cities, Orlando is adorned with rainbow flags and banners and lighting this June in a celebration of Pride Month, a month that recognizes the contributions of LGBTQ Americans to the history and life of this country. But this week, the city is also memorializing a tragedy. 5 years ago today, a gunman opened fire in Pulse nightclub, a gay club in Orlando, killing 49 people and wounding more than 50. It remains one of the deadliest mass shootings in U.S. history. It's also the deadliest attack on a group of LGBTQ people. We have a remembrance this hour along with additional coverage on this network. But we wanted to start by asking if June 12, 2016, brought about change in any way. We called 2 leaders in Orlando's LGBTQ community for their thoughts about this. Representative Carlos Guillermo Smith is a member of the Florida House of Representatives from Orlando. He was elected in 2016 after the shooting and was the first openly LGBTQ Latinx lawmaker in Florida. He's with us now. Representative Smith, thanks for being with us. Carlos Guillermo Smith, thank you for having me, MICHEL Martin. We also have with us George A. Wallace. He is Executive Director of LGBT Center Orlando. It's a long-established community center with LGBT-specific services. Mr. Wallace, thank you so much for joining us as well. George A. Wallace, thank you. It's my pleasure. Martin, so, Representative Smith, if I could start with you, I understand you'd been to Pulse many times. And the night of the shooting was Latin night, and many of the victims were Latinx and other people of color. So I just wanted to start by asking, if you don't mind, what does this day bring up for you? Smith, well, it certainly brings up a lot of emotions and a lot of painful memories about this terrible tragedy 5 years ago that killed 49 mostly LGBTQ people of color. You said it in your intro. It was Latin night at Pulse when this mass shooting happened. And so there were so many individuals from the Hispanic and Latinx community who were directly impacted, who were killed. Half of those victims who were Hispanic were Puerto Rican. So there were so many communities that were really, really devastated by this. And 5 years later, I think it is important to reflect on what's changed and what work we still have to do on so many fronts. Martin, so, Mr. Wallace, I just wanted to, could you just broaden it out a little bit? And so what about the last 5 years? Has there been kind of a shape to that period for you that you could tell us about? Wallace, 5 years ago, the city of Orlando shined bright following the tragedy. And we are a resilient community. There was an outpouring of love, not just here locally but from around the world.